Holy shit. He said what?
Everybody trying to be a victim. Like, well, what's this girl? Meghan Markle. Seemed like a nice lady. Just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light skin lottery? And still going on complaining. Acting all dumb like she don't know nothing. Going on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
It began like a typical comedy special with the lights dimmed, the audience excited, and Chris Rock stepping into the spotlight. But what followed wasn't humor, it was a public takedown. And Meghan Markle was the focus.
The biggest addiction in America is attention. We are addicted to attention. Easiest way to get attention is to be a victim.
There was no slow setup and no avoiding names. Rock went directly for the throat. And in less than a minute, he flipped her image from media victim to the biggest punchline of the decade.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
They're so racist, they're so racist. Some of the she went through was not racism. It was just some in-law Because she's complaining, I'm like, what the is she talking about? No, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know.
What made it especially harsh was that it wasn't even his funniest line. The real damage came in the quiet that followed each punch, as the crowd absorbed it and collectively thought, yeah, he's right.
What the is she talking about? She didn't know. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
For years, Meghan had portrayed herself as the sympathetic outsider, the underdog who just couldn't grasp the system. But in a single routine, Rock reversed the narrative, casting her as the complete opposite, entitled, manipulative, and craving the same spotlight she claimed to hate. And that, my friends, was only the first strike, because what followed wasn't simple ridicule. It was a domino effect that all ignited the moment Rock declared she was no Cinderella.
Posting up pathetic pictures. This is me eating sushi. Like me. This is me 25 years ago when I was hot. Like me. Oh, it's fucking sad.
The truth about Meghan's public image is that it rested on one fragile notion, that she was caught off guard by the pressures of royal life, an innocent Hollywood actress stepping into a palace like a fairy tale princess only to find a harsh, unkind reality. It's a compelling story until someone points out the obvious. It's pure fiction.
Hey, it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats. But there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food. Don't taste the food. Drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Weddy.
Chris Rock didn't dance around the subject or question her version of events. He torched it completely. He compared her supposed ignorance of the royal family to a basketball player claiming they'd never heard of the NBA, and the audience erupted. It was sharp, straightforward, and impossible to dispute. In that instant, the illusion shattered because, let's be real, Meghan didn't just accidentally fall into royalty. She studied it. She dated a prince for years, and she entered that palace with her eyes wide open and a picture-perfect smile.
That she was hunting for a man in England. She wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and she targeted Harry.
And Chris Rock, he simply gave the audience permission to say out loud what they'd been thinking all along. That's the true force of a joke like his. It doesn't just spark laughter. It slowly rips the mask away in front of a crowd, suddenly realizing they may have been duped. The harshest part was that Meghan wasn't even there to defend herself, but she didn't need to be, because from that night forward, the poor Meghan narrative was dead. Every late-night host, every satirist, every Twitter account with Wi-Fi now smelled blood in the water. What Rock managed in under 5 minutes could take her PR machine years, maybe even decades, to repair. A flawless roast doesn't just land. It explodes.
What is she talking about? I didn't know. That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot.
Within hours of Chris Rock's special airing, his takedown of Meghan was everywhere. TikTok loops, Twitter snippets, YouTube recaps, with freeze frames of the crowd doubled over in laughter. Then the comedy world jumped in. Over in Britain, The gloves came off immediately as comedians portrayed Meghan and Harry as living contradictions, fixated on status while pretending to shun it, pocketing huge Netflix deals under the guise of purpose.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
The Duchess of Sussex shared a photo of herself cuddling her daughter on Instagram and a never-before-seen picture from her bird.
Their jabs were sharp, biting, and delivered with the kind of scorn only veteran royal watchers could summon. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, late-night hosts caught the same scent of blood, ridiculing the brand partnerships and the constant self-pity.
And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need.
The infamous "we want privacy" line became their favorite target, hammered so relentlessly you could practically hear the palace laughing in the background.
We want privacy! We want privacy! Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir! My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
5 minutes later.
Who's filming this?
The most brutal part was that the jokes began to overlap. Comedians who had never shared a stage were delivering the same punchlines. That's no accident. That's the moment a narrative flatlines. By the end of the week, Meghan was no longer seen as a misunderstood duchess or a serious actress. She had become the comedy world's latest running gag, a living headline whose contradictions were just too easy, too blatant, and too funny for any comic to resist. The roast had gone worldwide, and it wasn't slowing down.
Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband.
The nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to a billion-dollar idea was marrying a prince.
If Chris Rock struck the match, the internet poured on the gasoline. Within days, Meghan's most awkward moments weren't just being ridiculed, they were being transformed into viral currency. TikTok creators spliced her interviews with eye-roll reactions, sarcastic voiceovers, and laugh tracks lifted straight from sitcoms.
The best way to have a snack is to take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag and then label this new bag, even though this bag already has a label on it. Tap water!
That bizarre snack rebagging clip from her Netflix series became instant meme gold. Celebrity name drops were chopped into compilations called Meghan's Imaginary Friends, and Twitter turned ruthless. Screenshots of her contradictions, privacy please plastered next to staged paparazzi photos, spread like wildfire. People didn't just share them. They weaponized them with captions so vicious they didn't even need punchlines.
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling.
YouTube creators broke down her interviews frame by frame, highlighting rehearsed expressions, timed pauses, and lines that sounded like PR scripts gone wrong. Suddenly, she wasn't a duchess bearing her truth. She was a soap opera character, and the audience had shifted from sympathy to flat-out mockery.
Oh my god, that hat. Oh god. He's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? I mean, she bagged a fox.
The real danger was that memes moved faster than damage control. By the time her team drafted a rebuttal, the next viral joke had already replaced it. The internet wasn't just laughing at Meghan, it was stripping away whatever dignity she had left. And if social media was a wildfire, late-night TV was the flamethrower. Night after night, Meghan and Harry became the go-to gag, the cheap laugh that no longer needed a setup.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
On Saturday Night Live, they weren't portrayed as bold rebels or sympathetic victims. They were painted as a clueless royal dropout and his fame-chasing wife, bumbling through a world they didn't understand, but desperately wanted to cash in on. The sketches were exaggerated, but only slightly.
Meghan, you have been working so hard. Oh, God. You're probably the hardest worker in the world. I don't know anybody that's worked as hard as you. I don't know.
Jimmy Fallon zeroed in on the absurd details, like Meghan insisting they were married before the royal wedding.
Another big revelation was that Meghan said that she and Harry actually got married 3 days before the royal wedding. Great, now I feel like a fool for waking up at 5 a.m. to watch 2 married people get married.
Harry's over-the-top oversharing in his memoir, and their habit of turning everyday inconveniences into trauma became punchlines. Even Stephen Colbert, hardly known for being ruthless, dropped lines that made audiences wince and laugh at the same time.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
The secret weapon of late-night comedy is repetition. When the same jokes are told so often by so many hosts, they stop feeling like humor and start sounding like reality.
I'm going to succeed in America. I need a lifestyle brand of creams and supplements. Gwyneth Paltrow has Goop, Kourtney Kardashian has Poosh, and Jamie Lee Curtis has Poogert. Now I've got mine, Meg Goo, celebrating the sexy earth goddess in all of us.
Within weeks, Meghan wasn't just controversial. She was locked into the late-night script, a permanent character in a never-ending roast no amount of PR spin could erase. Comics in club sets didn't bother with subtle digs. They went straight for the throat. Simon Brodkin mocked the Netflix documentary as a 6-hour infomercial for self-pity, shredding its staged sincerity and melodramatic music cues.
Careful, Harry. I spilled some essential oils on the floor.
He mocked the idea that bowing to the Queen or curtsying was some kind of traumatic ordeal, comparing it to whining about taking your shoes off at airport security. Other comedians tore into Harry's own words from Spare, twisting his cringe-worthy oversharing into punchlines that made him sound spoiled, tone-deaf, and completely disconnected from reality.
I don't know, Megs. I've tried every career there is. Prince, Hitler. Maybe I'm just not qualified for anything.
That's not true. You're a great husband, a good-hearted man. You've got big, muscular teeth.
Thanks, Meg. And I guess now I'm qualified for this. Unemployment!
But Meghan was always the bigger target. Her polished sound bites were branded as Oscar speeches for an audience of one. In comedy clubs, there are no censors and no polite laughs. The reactions are raw, loud, and often merciless. And every brutal one-liner went viral, fueling more ridicule. By the time those sets blew up online, Meghan's image wasn't just dented, it was shredded. And no one in those crowds wanted it put back together.
He said H was H, H was out there. H has been, H is, and H called me with H, and H was out, and with H.
When South Park comes after you, there's no recovery. The worldwide privacy tour episode didn't just poke fun, it permanently branded Meghan and Harry's hypocrisy into pop culture. Animated versions of the couple demanded privacy through megaphones while flying on a private jet, a gag so sharp it didn't need any dialogue. The satire hit hard because it was dead on, boiling every contradiction they'd ever made into a 20-minute roast that replayed endlessly online.
We want privacy! We want privacy! It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved her, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal. It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
Other shows piled on. Family Guy reduced them to a quick 2-line gag about getting millions for doing nothing, and somehow it hit harder than a full monologue.
Your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Animated satire is different. Once you're a cartoon caricature, that version of you sticks longer than reality. The damage wasn't just comedic, it was psychological. When people laugh at your cartoon self more than your real one, you lose control of your image completely. By the time the credits rolled on South Park, Meghan wasn't just mocked. She was immortalized as a symbol of performative victimhood. No press statement or glossy interview could ever erase that drawing.
Party girl, actress, influencer, victim.
Yeah, that's totally me! What matters is what we have on the inside.
Bill Maher didn't need props, sketches, or cartoons. He came armed with something more dangerous, cold logic.
That you don't call another human being Your Highness?
Where other comics went after Meghan's quirks and contradictions, Maher dismantled the entire strategy. He called out the hypocrisy of craving royal perks without responsibility, fame without scrutiny, and the spotlight without the heat.
A woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her. She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
In his words, it wasn't a scandal. It was a business model destined to collapse. He contrasted their endless grievances with Queen Elizabeth's stoic silence, a woman who endured decades of relentless press without monetizing it in a Netflix special. The comparison was brutal. One side looked dignified, the other looked desperate.
You're complaining about your hard life and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous.
Maher's knockout punch came when he said, "The world isn't obligated to play along with your personal drama." That one line gutted the victim narrative and exposed the entitlement underneath. No yelling, no gimmicks, just blunt truth that left the audience nodding instead of laughing. By the end, Maher hadn't just roasted Meghan, he diagnosed her brand, and the prognosis was terminal. A self-inflicted implosion dressed in a royal title and marketed as tragedy.
Here today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
By now, Meghan's image wasn't just damaged. It was smashed into thousands of memes, punchlines, and sound bites bouncing across the globe. What started with a single Chris Rock joke had spiraled into a cultural verdict handed down not in courtrooms, but on comedy stages and social feeds. The cruelest part, the laughter outlasted the news cycle. Even when Meghan and Harry tried pivoting to charity work or polished interviews, the public heard every word through the echo of those jokes. Every statement felt scripted. Every photo op looked staged. The roast wasn't commentary anymore. It was the filter. And once your name becomes comedy shorthand for hypocrisy, the game is over.
Look at that face, she's not happy.
Oh, yeah, it's so hard to be pretty. So your life is so hard, you're a fucking princess.
Politicians bounce back from scandals. Celebrities recover from PR disasters. But when your brand collapses into a smirk and a punchline, you can't rebuild it, you can only live under it. The jesters of the modern age had passed judgment, and the verdict was permanent. Meghan's narrative wasn't taken by the press, the palace, or even Chris Rock. It was taken by the world's laughter. And laughter doesn't give anything back. That's the real takeaway. This wasn't just about one joke or one special. Chris Rock may have lit the spark, but the firestorm spread far beyond stand-up stages. Every contradiction, every exaggerated grievance, every desperate grab for attention, it's all now part of a permanent public record written in punchlines.
Prove that you're enough. Prove that you're pretty enough. Prove that you're smart enough. Prove that you're a good wife or a good friend. Or
Meghan Markle's sitting here talking about, like, yeah, I gotta prove that I'm pretty. And while she's a pretty woman sitting across from a bratwurst? Yes!
And here's where it gets even uglier. Because Meghan's drama isn't just burning bridges with the public, it's scorching the relationships that once gave her and Harry credibility they can't buy back. One of the clearest examples is the collapse of Senabale, the charity Harry once called his life's mission. If you thought the comedy world was ruthless, wait until you see what happened when Sophie Chandaka, one of the charity's most respected leaders, finally walked away. This wasn't just a disagreement. It was a rupture heard worldwide, and it left Harry absolutely seething. You can catch the full breakdown in my last video, only on Star Spotlight, where the real royal stories unfold.